সুপ্রিয় দর্শক সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি টিভিএন24 আয়োজিত নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান টিভিএন অ্যানালিসিস। আজকের ডেফিনেটলি আপনারা দেখছেন ডিফারেন্ট হোস্ট। মাই নেম ইজ আমার নাম হচ্ছে হাবিব রহমান। আমি আজকের টিভিএন অ্যানালিসিস পরিচালনা করছি। আমি আশা করি আপনাদের অনুষ্ঠানটি ভালো লাগবে। বেশ কয়েকটি গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বিষয় নিয়ে আজকের অনুষ্ঠানটি আমরা করছি। আমার সাথে স্টুডিওতে কে আছে আই উইল জাস্ট টেল ইউ ইন আ লিটল বিট। আজকের বিষয়বস্তু কয়েকটি বিষয়। একটা হচ্ছে ট্যাক্স ফাইলিংয়ের আগামী বছরের পরিবর্তন, দ্য নেক্সট ইয়ার্স চেঞ্জেস অ্যান্ড দ্য বেনিফিটস। এটা আপনারা অনেক বছর শুনেছেন, কিন্তু আজকে নতুন করে কিছু বলবো। একটি ব্যাপার আমাদের চোখে পড়েছে, সেটি হচ্ছে যে যদিও আমরা উই আর টকিং অ্যাবাউট ট্যাক্সেস, আপনারা জানেন, কিন্তু এখন রিসেন্টলি ট্যাক্স ডিপার্টমেন্ট, ডিএমভি, আইআরএস ওয়ার্কিং টুগেদার, এর অর্থ কী অ্যান্ড হাউ ডু ইউ সেভ গার্ড ইউর সেলফ, এটার একটি আমরা কথা বলবো। স্পেশালি আপনি যখন আগামী বছর ট্যাক্স ফাইল করবেন, এটি থাকবে। যারা ইলেকট্রনিক ভেহিকল এখনও কিনছেন, মনে রাখবেন যে বলা হচ্ছিল যে সেপ্টেম্বর 30 তারিখের মধ্যে আপনাকে ডেলিভারি নিতে হবে। এখন তারা বলছেন যে ডেলিভারিটা সেপ্টেম্বরের 30 তারিখে না নিলেও চলবে। Details we're going to hear in a minute. Housing marketer current situation, the right now কি হচ্ছে সেখানে আমরা জানি যে September 17 the mortgage rate will come down 90%, 95% guaranteed, not 100%. It's a high number. What does it mean for you? আপনার জন্য এটি কি অর্থ বহন করে? Are you going to be waiting? Are you hoping to mortgage come down? So আপনি you're trying to get a property, buy a house, or maybe a second house, or should you do it now? All these things. Why and why not? আমরা ব্যাখ্যা করার চেষ্টা করব. And why not wait if you're a first-time buyer? So you're going to have expert advice. If you are planning to refinance, আমরা again refinancing এর আমরা definitionটা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করব। রিফাইন্যান্সের কারণ কি কি কারণে, what are the reasons people refinance, and what are the reasons you should thinking of refinancing? We'll talk about that. How to prepare for refinancing, because আপনারা সবাই জানেন you have to prepare to buy your first home, second home, whatever. Same way you have to prepare for refinancing. How do you do that? কিভাবে চেষ্টা করবেন সেই আলোচনা থাকবে। Can you refinance commercial mortgage into a conventional mortgage? What are the loopholes? We'll talk about this. And very important topic, financial fraud, especially with taxation. And all these things to talk about today, I have 𝗂𝗏 𝗏𝗏, certified public accountant. You have seen him many times with me, with somebody else, but more likely with me than anybody else. So Michael, we have jam-packed session today. Where do we start? Tax filing changes for next year and benefits? Let's start from there, I guess.
We can do that.
Okay, let's go.
So I mean, everyone's heard about the wonderful overtime.
Correct,
I know last show we touched on it.
Correct.
That basically you're only getting what they're saying you're getting not taxed on is not the 1.5 hours. It's only the half.
Right. We explained
We explained that last time for people who haven't seen it. Yeah, that's the big key that people need to understand.
Two other things I'm getting a lot of questions. One is SALT deduction. That is no cap, or what I heard. But is that true or not? What is the SALT deduction, and how can the homeowners can greatly benefit? And there is something for seniors about $6,000.
It's an additional. So let's talk about seniors since you just mentioned it, right? So it's just an additional to their standard deduction. Okay, so what is the standard deduction? Basically, say I made $30,000 and my standard deduction is $30,000. I have no taxable income, which means I pay no taxes. That's what the standard deduction. Everyone gets that just for basically breathing. Okay.
That's that.
And that, as a senior, you get an additional more than everybody else.
Okay, so senior gets $6,000 extra. Any other quality and qualifications for that, or it's just an automatic?
Over 65, yeah, exactly. It's pretty much automatic. It's by age.
By age, 65 and up, or 62 and up?
No, I think it's 65.
65 and up. So anybody who's 65 and up filing a tax, expecting $6,000 extra?
Not extra. $6,000 won't be taxable.
Okay, so
there's a big difference.
Basically deductible from the income.
Yeah.
So that also helps. It's not that you're getting a refunded check.
You got to realize all this stuff came in that huge bill, right? So everyone's still digesting exactly what everything means.
So let's talk about SALT deduction, because we know last year we had a cap of $10,000.
Correct.
Now we are hearing $40,000 cap. So if you're two scenarios. If you're a first-time home buyer, you bought it this year, you're going to file it. I think this is where you maximize your credit.
No.
Second year,
Second year, correct.
Second.
Why?
Let's talk about this.
Why? Because you didn't buy it on January 1st. You bought it, say, in June, right?
Right.
So you got 6 months of those deductions.
Okay. So if
it's the following year you'll see that.
So anybody
big
who bought it
cash
last
grab.
year, this is the second year for them. Anybody who bought their property last year.
Right. In 2024.
So this year, your second year, when you
then
file
you'll
for
be okay.
2026.
Then you'll be okay.
So when you say okay,
you'll be able to grab all the interest for the full year, all the taxes for the full year.
So let's say.
So let's just talk about what SALT is.
Yeah, correct.
Let's start with SALT and what it is, and we'll go back to what you wanted.
It's not SALT.
Right? So SALT is basically your state taxes, right? Your real estate taxes, right? Then you have everything else. All
and the local taxes.
And that's the same thing, state and local,
tax,
like the city tax, right? That is where you're usually capped at.
Property tax will go into that too?
Yes.
Okay. So the property tax, local tax,
and real estate tax.
And then you have the state taxes.
Correct.
So 4 big chunk.
Right. So again, most people are not self-employed. So, but the people on W-2s, you're going to see a big portion of it.
Yeah.
But look, the reason SALT was such a big issue was everyone's property taxes in New York, especially in this local area, is above usually over 10,000. Right. It's very easy to hit that cap. And that's why this was such a big deal.
Okay, so if you are making $100,000, I'm going to create 2 scenarios for you.
Love it.
Scenario 1, when you are an independent contractor, which is 1099, let's in this example, and then that's he or she owns a house and the family of 3, for example, right, or 4. Now you file a tax the second year, and now you have the cap of 40,000. You subtract all that from your income. That's the way it works?
So this is what is SALT. SALT's part of basically your itemized deduction.
Right.
That's what it is. You either get your standard deduction, like I just spoke about,
right,
or you can itemize.
Right.
Most of the problem what's been in the last couple of years is we couldn't itemize because we were capped at 10,000.
Right.
Well, if your cap is at 40 and your standard deduction is at 30, you're going to take the 40, right?
Of course.
Exactly. So it's only what the good benefit is, and what the most important thing is, you will pay less taxes because you'll have less taxable income.
Yeah, because you subtract your income.
So if you make 100,000, I take the standard deduction, I'm getting taxed on 70,000. If I get that 40,000 we just spoke about, right, then I'm only paying taxes on 60,000.
Right, and that's really
the key. That's the benefit.
Right, that helps you keep your Medicaid, Medicare.
That has no impact.
Nothing to do with. No impact whatsoever.
No impact. It's how much taxes you got to pay.
Okay.
So your refund will be bigger.
Say that again. Your refund will be bigger
because you're paying less money on your less taxable income.
So bottom line is, if you are a second or third year of your the home and you're filing taxes this year, your return would be bigger because of the SALT deduction.
If you qualify for it, yes.
If you qualify for this. What are the qualifications for this? Generally speaking.
Look, it's all about, it's not anything special.
There's an income limit, or there's...
It's not the income limit. You have to have that much, you have all your real estate taxes, all your state taxes, plus all the interest you pay that mortgage company.
Yeah, which usually comes down to 20 grand if you are a first-time home buyer.
Right. So imagine you cap out the SALT at 40, and I got another 20.
Right.
I make $100,000, right? I'm only paying taxes on 40,000.
That's a huge benefit.
That is
that's where your refund
And I'll give everyone who doesn't want to pay interest, listen, this is where you actually make your money.
Yeah. Nobody likes to pay interest.
Correct. Remember people saying, oh my God, I paid $50,000 in interest. Believe it or not,
yes, of course.
I guarantee you're probably paying no taxes this year.
Yeah, almost no taxes, almost. Yeah, doesn't work for people who own a house for 10, 15 years. Not as much.
Other ones take the refis.
Really?
Why not? Take your money out.
I'm going to come to that because that's part of our discussion.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people didn't catch it, but that's a big part of our discussion. And that's actually, you led me to, you know what? Let's stay on topic. Okay. I know it's immigration. It's a hot issue. I don't want to touch it too much because we are not attorneys, and you're a CPA. So from the CPA's perspective, we are hearing a lot of things that, you have the IRS sharing their data with DMV and ICE. A lot of people are scared that it could actually come back and haunt them when they file for taxes next year. And when you and I were talking, I think last time, that you said there is a way to help.
Correct.
But you also have some advice. Would you?
Well, let's step back and say ICE can request the information from the IRS. Okay.
Right.
IRS will give them access to that information, which is like your name, address, right, where you work, right, all that different stuff to pinpoint, right?
Correct.
That's what they can request, but it's a formal request. It's not like they have access and go to databases. No. It has to be a formal request.
Yeah, so the request has to go to IRS.
And IRS has to grant that request. So I'm saying to you, there's a lag.
There's a
lag and a process, right? But there's definitely ways to protect yourself. Okay.
Right. And for obvious reasons, we can't discuss this on a television show.
Correct.
For legal issues and stuff. But as you said, that there are things that you can put to safeguard yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the reason I'm putting in really emphasizing it because it's people's lives and their livelihood.
Correct.
And this is where if you go to somebody who doesn't know what he's doing or she's doing, then it becomes
look,
critical.
This coming year taxes with all this stuff, you got to go to somebody who knows what they're doing. Okay?
Yeah.
Because as you said, this is about someone's life.
Right, exactly. I mean,
okay, this is not something just to mess around with.
I'm not proposing that you go to Michael 𝗧𝗕, but if you do, well, good for you, good for him. But make sure you go to somebody who qualifies, who knows what he's doing. And years of experience, it counts here, especially this really murky water. Right now,
correct.
You know, if Donald Trump has done anything, that he created fear, really in a heightened way.
I mean, you got to look at it this way, right? It's not just looking in front of you. You got to look down the line and see what this move does, and what's the impact.
Correct. So, just to summarize this, yes, there are real danger, but yes, there are workaround.
There is.
You just must.
You have to think it through, and you got to be extremely careful when we do taxes.
Correct.
It's that simple.
I mean, that's the extent that we can go online when we're having this kind of discussions. Okay, let's talk about EV, a deadline extended, and how to take benefits.
Okay, so this is the whole thing with the EV, right? So you don't have to actually take delivery of this vehicle, right, by September 30th.
Right.
It's a little tricky, right? You need to have that contract signed by September 30th. You also have to pay a nominal money.
That's correct.
Right? Before September 30th.
Yeah.
On top of it, when you do pick up that vehicle down the line, you need to have that bill of sale referencing the contract date.
So that you can get the $7,000 credit.
$7,500, yes.
$7,500 credit. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be Tesla now, does it?
No, it doesn't have to be Tesla, but the key word is, like I'll tell everyone, go to reputable dealers because you need these three things can really change the game, right? Because you need to make sure that contract has a date before or after, right, on September 30th, right? I need that. Also, you need to make sure you make a nominal deposit that day.
Right.
On top of it, you need to make sure when you pick up that car, that bill of sale actually still says that contract date, and it's not been changed to something else.
Right. So, you know, আপনারা অনেকে আছেন যারা you want to buy EV, and most আমরা বেশিরভাগ সময় মনে করি যে EV মানে Tesla. Not necessarily true. Ford has it now. You know, Nissan has it. Rivian. You name it. Anyway, আপনারা যদি মনে করেন যে আপনি এই গাড়িটা নেবেন এবং $7,500 ট্যাক্স ব্রেক যেটা পাওয়া যায় সেটা নেবেন, তাহলে আপনাকে যে কাজটি করতে হবে এই কন্ট্রাক্টটা সাইন করে নিতে হবে 30 তারিখের মধ্যে, September 30th. So when your dealer, আপনার ডিলার যখন আপনাকে কাগজটি দিবে, make sure the contract is signed September 30th, you said?
Oh, before, I mean.
Before, preferably before, September 29. After delivery, you can take it at a later time.
Yeah.
Right?
But you got to make sure that contract date is actually shown on when you deliver it.
And some deposit put on.
Nominal. It could be. It's got to be something decent.
$500.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
On the contract deposit.
On contract deposit, it has to be there. তাহলে আপনি গিয়ে you're going to get that tax break $7,500 that usually EV drivers, owners get it, right? Okay, so that's that. Now let's come to housing market. Current scenario. It's a murky water. I know that you are laughing, but I you know just make believe that we are having a discussion where everybody can get on the same page, right? From that perspective, explain to me what is or how is the current situation when it comes to real estate non-commercials.
Right. So look, what's the same thing as it's been? Inventory is so bad, right? There's not a lot out there, right? It's very easy for somebody to spend 3 or 4 weeks and see everything on the market.
Correct.
Is that crazy, right? And then the bidding wars that's going on, it's just a crazy market once again, just because there's nothing on the market. On top of it, everyone knows the rates are coming down, right?
The mortgage rates.
Correct.
Right.
So then you also have people who are on the sideline, they're entering as well.
Sideline means people who've been waiting here for a long time and thinking.
I wasn't sure.
I wasn't sure. Thinking,
right.
and timing the market kind of thing. Those people are there.
Correct.
So that doesn't help.
It makes it worse.
Okay. So 2 things. First of all, you have shortage of inventories. So supply and demand.
You got shortage of inventories. You got lower rates.
Lower rates.
Right. So more people can buy. So maybe I could only buy a $750,000 house, but when the rates drop, I could buy an $800,000 house. Now I'm somebody else's competition.
Yeah. So that doesn't really help.
That's what I'm saying to you. It makes you saying I could buy the 750 or I can go even higher.
So let me give him the good news and the bad news.
Go ahead.
So the good news is this: যদি interest rate কমে, and interest rate it's coming down September 17th, আপনারা ধরে নিতে পারেন, তখন কি হবে? আপনি যদি $700,000 যে বাড়িটি দেখছিলেন, now all of a sudden আপনার capacity you can actually get a house that is $800,000. Why? Because the borrowing cost went down. Correct? Okay. So আপনার লোন করার যে কস্টটি হয়ে থাকে সেটি কমে আসছে এবং আপনি কোয়ালিফাই করতে পারেন. The problem is that
so now we're also
you have more people.
And what does that do? Now the prices are going to start going back up a little bit, right? So they're not going to soften like we've all been hoping.
Does it also mean the house price will go up?
That's what I'm saying to you. You're seeing that. That's where the bidding wars are coming. Like people are paying $50,000, $60,000 over market again. It's causing us to go backwards in time instead of going forwards.
Okay. I have more questions on that one because I'm going to touch the mortgage because since we landed on the mortgage issues and stuff like that. But let's take a phone call. All right. কে আছেন আমাদের সাথে?
জি, হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
হ্যাঁ, ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম, বলুন।
যে আমি ট্যাক্স ফাইল করছিলাম 2024 সালের।
আচ্ছা, আপনি যদি ফোনটি স্পিকারে থাকে আপনি ফোনটি স্পিকার বন্ধ করে হাতে নিয়ে কথা বলুন, হ্যাঁ, তাহলে আমরা শুনতে পাবো।
আমি ট্যাক্স ফাইল করছিলাম 2024 এর ফেব্রুয়ারি 4 তারিখে। ওকে। কিন্তু আমার স্টেটের টাকাটা আসছে, ফেডারেলের টাকাটা এখনো আসে নাই। অলরেডি 3টা লেটার আসছে, ওরা 60 ডেজ করে টাইম নিতেছে বারবার ভেরিফাই করবে। বাট আমার হোম কেয়ার আছে, আমার একটা বাচ্চা আছে, ম্যারেজ ট্যাক্স ফাইল।
ওকে, ম্যারেজ ফাইল জয়েন্টলি আপনি 2024 এর ফাইল করেছেন ফেব্রুয়ারি মাসে। আপনি স্টেটেরটা পেয়েছেন, বাট ইউ স্টিল হ্যাভেন্ট রিসিভড দ্য ফেডারেল রিটার্ন, রাইট? এবং কয়েক মাস পর পর একটি চিঠি পান যে এভরি 2 মান্থস, এভরি 60 ডেজ তারা বলছে যে আমরা রিভিউইং ইউর কেস, রাইট? কিন্তু এই চিঠিতে এছাড়া কি আর অন্য কিছু লেখা থাকে?
No.
Just that, right? এবং এটা কোন স্টেট? নিউ ইয়র্ক স্টেট।
New York State, yeah.
And do you have আপনি একটু লাইনে থাকুন। So he filed his tax.
I got it.
You got it, right?
I got it.
Okay.
So basically every 60 days he gets the same letter again.
Yeah, saying no, we are reviewing it.
Someone, your CPA or somebody has to actually call federal and see what's actually going on with this. Because they shouldn't keep going
which I have seen you doing it many times.
Yes.
and resolved really quick.
Yes.
Okay. So আপনি যদি এখনো থেকে থাকেন আমাদের সাথে, আসলে আপনার হয়ে একজন সিপিএ, not any taxpayer, সিপিএ কল করতে হবে আইআরএস কে, এবং এই ইস্যুটা তখন হয়তো রিজলভ হয়ে যাবে খুব দ্রুত। কারণ আমি অতীতে দেখেছি এটা হতে, এবং একটি ফোন কলই যথেষ্ট in this case.
I think it'd be a much easier fix.
Yeah, a phone call.
Yeah, something's not matching with IRS or something's going on, and we just need to figure it out.
Okay, আমি আশা করি আপনার প্রশ্ন উত্তরটি পেয়েছেন, আপনাকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। Okay, now let's go to mortgage interest rate. Few fold questions. Everybody knows we were talking few minutes ago that the interest rate is coming down on September 17th. The market believes so. It's already priced into stock market.
That's correct.
That's part one.
Correct.
So it's a given, let's say, at this point. So when the mortgage rate comes down, that's question one, does it also mean the 30-year fix will come down?
It's not 100% related.
Why?
Because you got long-term, right? It's only 10 years, right? How long is your which is
30-year fixed.
There you go.
Right.
It's not a perfect correlation, right? It never will be.
Okay.
Okay, but it's a great gauge to look at.
So Fed funds interest rate has nothing to do, I would not say, has less to do with 30-year fixed mortgage.
Correct. The best way for everyone to look and say, okay, where are the mortgage rates going? Look at the 10-year Treasury.
Right. And where are we with the 10-year Treasury? The government hasn't been very successful lately.
Right, but I'm saying that's a gauge of saying where the market's going.
Right.
Don't
That's
see,
an
if you see 10-year Treasury, you see 4.2, that's not the rate, okay?
Yeah.
Right, but when you see that go down, you know the mortgage rates are going down.
So the bond comes down, right now, I was just checking this morning, it was 4.52 something.
4.3 something.
Yeah, something like
that. Something like
that. If it goes over 5, it's a
that's a different story.
That's a different story. Okay.
That's a completely different story. But look, last time it went to 3.8, rates were 5.5.
Okay. Currently, at this point, a lot of people it's saying 6.5. Well,
no, it's not 6.5 right now. Maybe it's 6.1.
6.1.
That's where I think it really
depends on who you are.
Correct.
Your level of income, your credit, work history.
And who you go to.
I'm sorry.
It's true. It's true.
It is also who you go to. আপনারা যদি খেয়াল করবেন, আমি ওনাকে বলছিলাম ওকে আপনার ইন্টারেস্ট রেট ডিপেন্ড করবে নিশ্চয়ই আপনার ইনকামের উপর, আপনার ক্রেডিট হিস্ট্রির উপর, আপনার আরও কয়েকটি ব্যাপার, ব্যাংকে আপনি কি পরিমাণ অর্থ দিচ্ছেন, এই ধরনের কথাবার্তা, রাইট? মাইকেল মোতাজিদি যেটি অ্যাড করলেন সেটি হচ্ছে, আমি যতটুকু জানি, এবং আপনারা যদি ইফ ইউ গো টু লেবার ডিপার্টমেন্টস ফেড ফান্ডস রেট, ইউ উইল সি তারা বলছেন 6.5, দ্যাটস দেয়ার রেট। এবং অনেকে আছেন আপনারা যারা 7.7, 7.5, 8.9 পয়েন্টস ইন্টারেস্ট রেট আছে। মাইকেল মতো যদি আমাদেরকে যেটা বলেন, এটা সম্ভব আপনি যদি সব কাগজপত্র ঠিক করেন, ইফ ইউ ফিক্স ইউর পেপার ওয়ার্ক অ্যান্ড প্রেজেন্ট ইট প্রপারলি, আপনার 6.1ও হতে পারে এই মুহূর্তে। এখনো ইন্টারেস্ট রেট ইটস স্টিল ওয়ার ইট ইজ টুডে, ইন্টারেস্ট রেট কিন্তু আসেনি, ইট ডিডন্ট গো, বাট ইটস পসিবল that it could be 6.1.
Yeah, it's definitely. Listen, we just closed a few. That's not
with the current situation.
Correct.
What happens if it comes down 25 basis point on 17th?
So that's going to give it even more. It would probably go down more than 25 points. Why? Because it wasn't priced.
It's going to be 50 basis points?
I'm saying to you, if it becomes 50, right now they're pricing in 25.
25 basis points.
If they get surprised and it's even more, you're going to see it go more.
Okay, so
it's going to get
there are two
over,
scenarios you're talking about.
Correct, because then it's going to get, basically over.
Yeah, 25 basis point.
Right now,
50 basis point.
Correct. Right now, you say if it's 6, say it's 6.25, right?
Right now, yeah.
And right now we know it's quarter. You say it'd be 6, but why am I saying 6.1?
Yeah.
That should be the question.
Okay,
it's all about expectations.
Okay.
Okay, so if they think it's only 25 and suddenly it's half a point, you're going to see it go even further than a quarter point down.
5.5.
You never know.
You never know. But possibly.
Possibly, because you're surprising all the bond traders.
That's the part.
Yes.
That's the part.
Look, this is part technical.
Yeah.
But part, in a sense, is it's got some kind of a crowd movement.
That's correct. Just like PC information today came out, it was 2.9. Means nothing to a lot of people. But when it says, hey, the consumers are, they have increased their spending. They're not holding back. That tells you that people have money.
Correct.
And then wages, wage growth was 0.4%. That means you are earning more, despite we are hearing lots of conflicting data or information saying everything is going to spike up.
But that's the problem. We are right now in, I would say this whole month, it's been misinformation.
Yeah, explain that a little bit, if you, in the easiest form.
Easiest form is basically, guys are hearing a lot of different stuff. Some people are saying good, some people are saying bad. Look.
When it comes to tariffs and stuff.
Just everything. Yeah, don't read the news, read statistical reports. Okay?
Yeah.
Because look, anybody can lie on the internet at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So look, if you want to really see it for yourself, look at the statistical reports and things that are published.
Red herring
That's the only way I could tell you.
Right. So stay on focus and ask questions.
Yes, don't believe everything you hear.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not feeling difficulties, that means the situation is not as bad as they are saying.
Correct.
Or we're hearing.
Correct. You got one side of the news that wants to say everything's great. You got one side of the news that wants to say everything's terrible.
Right.
There's somewhere in the middle.
There has to be a equilibrium
somewhere.
Right. So that means you need to find the facts.
Correct.
It's not difficult. You just have to dig deep a little bit. Okay, so the mortgage, you're saying, so the people who are listening to you right now, what would be your advice to them? If the two things, the part one is first-time home buyers. Let's hear about them first.
So look, first-time home buyers is going to be the same, basically the same story you've heard the whole time, right? Like now is the time to look to buy. Okay, but I'm going to go back into one thing that we talked about.
Okay.
Now we have that SALT deduction. We have that big deduction. People who aren't looking to buy a house, I've been actually telling clients that have large W-2s, now is the time to buy a house. If you're waiting a year from now, the time is now. Why? Because one of your income may be all tax-free.
Ah, how's that?
The SALT.
The SALT will, so that's a huge 40,000.
Could you imagine where someone's making $100,000 and not paying any taxes? It's a game changer. So,
it is.
So it's basically moving people's timelines from here to here.
If you're single and if you're $100,000, you
technically you took a big enough mortgage out,
right?
You wouldn't have to pay much taxes.
Right. So you get to hold on to what you have.
Because you're going to want to buy the house anyways, right? But now instead of being your timelines over here, we're moving it over here. And look, you get to enjoy the house. You're probably getting it at a better price.
Correct.
And you're not paying taxes.
But I know আপনারা যারা অনেকে শুনছেন, it sounds complex and we maybe আপনারা বলছেন যে we need more information. Yes, you do. For more information, you need to really come and sit down with a professional CPA with experience and really listen to him and then bring all the paperwork, work on them, whatever is missing. It's a process.
Correct.
Okay? It doesn't fly. It doesn't fly just like, he said it's 5.5. No.
No, rates change twice a day.
Correct. And then you get lucky.
You got credit scores, you got everything else.
Credit, and
there's
you get
lots
lucky
of variables.
when you actually make
I was giving you guys a perfect storm.
Say that?
The 6.1 is like a perfect storm.
You think?
Yeah, 800 credit, yeah.
Yeah, so 800, not too many people will have that much.
No, but 740 and above.
Yeah, that's going to be excellent. And then some W2s.
Right, but I'm saying to you, but that's very, very doable.
Yeah, okay. How about 650? 650.
Come on, man.
They have
it's possible. They're not getting 6.1. They're not getting 6.1.
I mean, they're not denied, but they're not going to get the greatest of the greatest.
Of course.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, we're going to come back to that. All right. Now, you alluded to it, but explain to me that why not wait? If you are the first-time home buyer, you alluded to it, but explain that too.
Look, now's not the time to wait. Look, things are not moving.
And add your advice to it.
Right, things are not moving. I just spoke to you guys, especially for some of the higher earners.
Right.
Right, I said, you want to do it, you're trying to move your timetable here.
Right.
But for other people, time is just it's not worth waiting. Especially you guys are hearing mixed singles in the market, right? So if this is the time, you have income, what happens if the economy shifts and now you don't have income? Then what do? You missed the boat and you're trying to get income to get your paperwork in order.
Right.
Right now you have the paperwork in order.
And then you can
this is the time to
get
strike.
over that hump.
Correct.
Things can go south.
Right.
Who cares?
Exactly.
You already have it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, on the same topic, if you were okay, let's talk about refinance. Oh, no. I remember that question now. If somebody comes to you who qualifies for a single-family house, would you advise him to get a two-family home so that he can rent out a portion and it works well for him? What would be your advice for that person?
You got to think about it, okay? And we all remember this, all right? During recessions, tenants don't pay in New York City.
We know that.
Okay, so you got to always factor that in.
But if
you can manage it, if you can manage, obviously buy a two-family. But remember, when you're buying a two-family versus a one-family, your portion is smaller.
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
You're smaller, so you have to think that through. Okay, it's not like I'm getting two the same size one-families.
It's
right. The living space is smaller.
There is a portion that you can rent out, but
but I'm saying the portion you're living in, it's not like you're getting two single families.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right?
Right. I mean, there's a trade-off.
Correct.
There is a trade-off.
And
but
listen,
nonetheless, there's an income.
Listen, not everyone wants to live with other people. They've been doing their whole lives. That's why they're buying a house.
I mean, I would, but there are people who thinks it helps them, reduces their mortgage payment. And I totally understand.
But the problem is that it's great all, but when that person's not paying rent, well, now you're paying the mortgage anyways.
A huge issue.
Exactly.
Huge issue.
So you have to realize
you have factored in that income,
and you have to be want to be a landlord. Not everyone's built to be a landlord.
That's 100%. But some people deal with it. They say,
they do deal with it.
I could deal.
Look, I tell everyone to buy two-family for the first house. There's a reason for it.
That's the reason.
The reason is because buy the two-family because you can't go buy your second house and say, hey, I want to move from a single family to a two-family. No lender is going to believe you. So you buy a two-family first. So,
আপনারা যারা শুনছেন, if you are the first-time home buyer, buy two-family first.
Correct.
That's important. And this is where a CPA's advice, who's been working on this, becomes really imperative. Okay, let's talk about refinancing. In a simple term, what is refinancing? Because we have this myth, and then we have some factuals. If you shift through those data, what is refinancing?
So look, refinancing is just redoing my loan, right?
In general terms.
In general terms.
Okay.
People refinance for multiple reasons, but look, the most important is, hey, I want a lower interest rate.
Right.
I bought it when it was, say, 10%, right? Now it's, say, we just thought 6.1, right?
Or whatever.
I'm going to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, right? Another reason people buy it is because they want to take money out of their homes.
Right.
That's called a cash-out refinance. So the myth we always hear is, how much are closing costs, right? The good news with this stuff is the closing costs are usually less than what it is, and on top of it, it's cash not coming out of your pocket. Say your loan's $100,000. Well, then say it's the new loan's $115,000 at a much lower rate.
Is it going to be the same the span of the original loan?
So basically, say you had a 30-year, right? It's been 10 years, for argument's sake.
Let's say.
They're going to re-stretch it out to a 30-year, okay?
Yeah. So you go back to 30
you're basically starting again. But you can go, if you have 20 years left, you can get a 20-year.
Yeah.
You can make it and shrink it however you want to do it, right? But again, don't be tricked that like, oh my God, my monthly payment is so much lower. It's because your loan is getting stretched out.
So make believe that you bought a house in $500,000. You pay over 5 years, you paid off $200,000. You were very hardworking, whatever. So now you owe $300,000, and then you refinance. Your payment becomes like $1,500.
It's very cheap.
Very cheap, because now that $300,000 it's stretched over 30 years.
Correct.
Instead of that $500,000, and therefore it's easier payments.
Correct.
But if you have
income, to with the refinances, I tell everyone the same thing. Look, work with someone who knows what they're doing and work out what they call the break-evens. Because sometimes when you take a 15-year mortgage, you're getting a lower rate than your 30-year.
Yeah.
Right?
15 years is lower than 30 years.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that.
Sometimes the 10 years even better. It depends how long they've had this loan, right?
Your mortgage
but
is
you
want
to work out the break even and say, okay, where does it make sense? Where should I be, right?
Correct.
You need to work out the math with someone who's qualified.
Right. Because if you take 10-year or 15-year, your payment's going to be bigger too.
But believe it or not, my rate's really bad right now.
Yeah.
My payment would still be less.
Really?
Of course.
That's strange. So if you have a 30-year fix and you're, make believe you're paying $5,000 and you restructure your loan, refinance your loan, and then you make it $15,000, 15 years, your payment will come down?
Your payment could come down. They have 11% interest rate. And we know a lot of people who do.
Yeah. Well, that's for real. I mean, we know that.
We know that. So it's very feasible. And you don't know how long they've had. They could have 5 years, so you don't know.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So, you have to work out the math and see which one is the best for that person. And everyone's circumstances are different.
And that's why you need to sit down with all your paperwork. What's in your mind? How do you see yourself? And what's your plan?
Correct.
Right? And how much deposit you have? Maybe you have none, but can it be worked out?
Correct.
Okay. So,
and remember, for refinances, you do not need cash in the bank.
I want you to say that part again. That for
the
refinancing,
closing costs get attached to the loan.
A lot of people are worried about these two parts. I want you to help me, help them, and let's see where we go from there. There is this. It's not myth. I know that I hear it every day. That I want to refinance. However, I was told I have to have the closing cost. That's part one. Or I have to have money in my bank. And then I have to pay some sort of penalties. Explain these three
So
parts.
look, the penalties is because whoever you did the original loan with, they did what they call premium penalty. Which means you paid within the first, say, 5 years usually.
Yeah.
Every mortgage has a different prepayment penalty, right? So that's one thing you got to look at. That's the one thing, right? It doesn't matter about cash in the bank.
Okay.
Okay.
No, you don't have to have a cash.
You don't need cash, okay, when you do a refi because you got all this equity, right?
Yeah, sitting there.
Correct. The reason closing costs, you don't pay it out of your bank account. That it gets added onto the loan amounts.
So nothing comes out of your pocket.
Correct.
Generally speaking.
It doesn't.
Oh, so in actuality.
In actuality, maybe $400 comes out of your pocket for the appraisal.
Okay. So that's mind-boggling. That's a really good deal.
Yeah, that's why everyone does it.
And then, if you somehow you manage to pay it off in 10 years, it's up to you.
Right, but remember, why people struggle refinances? Because their paperwork is not in order. You're not showing the same income you did when you went and got that mortgage. Well, guess what? When you do a refinance, you need to show that you need to be prepared.
Okay, so I'm going to sum it up for everybody. আপনার রিফাইন্যান্সিং এর জন্য ব্যাংকে টাকা থাকতে হবে, no need for this. আপনাকে রিফাইন্যান্স করলে আপনাকে মর্টগেজ ক্লোজিং কস্ট দিতে হবে, no need for this. আপনার পকেট থেকে দিতে হবে, এটা লামসাম অ্যাড করে দেওয়া যায়। আবার the very important part is আপনার পেপারওয়ার্কটা কেমন আছে, how is your paperwork? So combine these three, you can refinance and greatly benefit yourself. So that's that. Now
let me throw just a wrinkle into that, right? This is dedicated that you have the equity built up in the home.
If you given that you have
the equity built in home, you don't have to bring anything, right? No cash, right? But say you just bought a house a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, then you got problems, right?
Well, what if you bought a house a year ago and you got a $50,000 equity, just for
right? So, but that's the problem. It's for people who want to refinance. You had to at least put 20% down originally,
right?
Because they'll only refinance up to 80%.
Some people, I found some people, they bought a house for it's been 2 or 3 years, and they really were successful, bringing down their payments. And somehow they got to a level where they bought this house for $700,000, $800,000. Now they only owe $500,000. And they're ready with another $100,000, and they're willing to put that $100,000 and bring their payment even lower than what they do now, and by refinancing. So how does that work?
So basically, look, if you prepay your loan, even if I paid off half my mortgage tomorrow, right? My payment still stays the same, right?
Right.
So the only way to change your payment amount every month is to refinance.
Okay. So and it hugely benefits you.
Correct.
The last question on this one topic. People who did not understand or did not have way to get a conventional loan, they bought a house with a commercial loan, and now they're thinking about refinancing. What is your solution for
them? So some of them can do it. It all really depends on who's on the deed.
So, what does that mean?
Right. So if you bought into an LLC, well, the LLC is on the deed.
Okay.
So you're not going. It's very difficult to go to conventional.
If it is bought under the LLC
or a corporation or whatever, it's very hard to get it out.
I mean, there's a maneuver.
There's a maneuver to do it, but I'm saying to you, you're not getting the best rate out there.
Okay, so that's
select few banks will do this.
Yeah, that means you are in a hot spot.
You are a little bit hot spot.
Okay, now, if it was under your name or somebody's name, one of the, usually.
Yeah. So say I bought this house as an investor, it's under my name, right? I can go out and get a conventional loan.
Doesn't really matter. That's simple.
Correct.
Okay.
Same thing with LLC. Like even one of the loans I did, the company existed. It originally was on a corporation, an LLC.
Yeah.
I refinanced it into a personal conventional loan.
Right.
So it can easily be done. It's just you have to know what you're doing. You have to have the right paper. Again, go back to the paperwork.
I think we're going to break it down in our next program even furthermore, because I want to stay on this topic because a lot of people are going to do it when they file taxes next year, because we are towards the end of the year.
Look, I wouldn't be jumping with that.
No, we are not, but we're going to educate and be part of that program.
No worries.
Right? Now, we started with the scary thing, the IRS sharing data. Now, another thing that we have been hearing, I can confirm, but I don't have the documents in my hand now, but I can confirm because I've seen it on USCIS site. They're saying tax fraud is going to be a big problem. people who are, you have many people who knows you, come to you every year, and people first time seeing you. What would be your advice to avoid this pitfall? Because that could land you really in really hot water.
Yeah, look, it's another tactic that they're using against people, right? So look, you got to be very smart. And again, that's like everything else I tell you guys, right? Everything has to be thought through. Everything has to have a logical defense to it, right? Tax fraud is when you it's completely like out of the blue, making up expenses left and right, not even related to something you do, right? Getting those extra credits. I mean, that's really what it's for.
Yeah, I mean, in our next program, I really want to talk about financial fraud, what they are, and what would be your advice? Because tax fraud is one, and then you have like financial fraud.
Right. That's what I'm saying to you this tax season, and I'm telling everybody, is you got to go to someone you know and trust to know to get through the right job, because everything is coming a full circle now.
Yeah, and we're going to leave it at that for today's program. I'm really glad that you were here, and we talked about many things, because I think unlike any other year, this year's tax is going to be very different.
It's going to be very different, and everything needs to be thought through.
Everything needs to be thought through.
Okay.
Whether you're buying a house, buying a car, doesn't really matter. This is going to be a huge year. The benefits are huge, risks are also huge.
Correct.
So
if you don't execute it the right way.
Correct. So, Michael, we're going to end it here. Let's say goodbye to everybody, and then we'll see them next program. যারা দেখছেন এতক্ষণ আশা করি অনুষ্ঠানটি ভালো লেগেছে। আপনাদের প্রশ্ন থাকলে জানাবেন, আমরা দেখব, সেখান থেকে আমরা হয়তো পরবর্তী অনুষ্ঠানটি সেভাবে সাজাবো। যেখানে থাকবেন, ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন, নিরাপদে থাকবেন TVN24 এর সাথে দেখা হবে পরবর্তী অনুষ্ঠানে। শুভরাত্রি।
TVN24 টেলিভিশন দেখতে আজই কল করুন 7187776556। লগ ইন করুন www.totalcabelbd.com।
নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে সম্প্রচারিত TVN24 টেলিভিশন বিশ্বজুড়ে বাঙালির কণ্ঠস্বর।